Okay guys, we're back on. And really what I was showing the 16 students that are here is how to merge a file in. So if you're right here, you go to Alt-R and it brings up your files. Okay? So if you want to put an exhibit in, go to Exhibit, Open, and it puts the exhibit in. Okay? That's how you do it. So that's how you read in block files, okay? And if you want to delete a line, how do you do it? Control Y. So it brings it back. Don't be scared to do stuff in here like I've told you guys, because all you have to do is get out of this, go back to Help, Install Lesson. We're messing around with block functions, and you just read it back in. So now everything is back in, okay? So if you go through there, don't be scared of messing with these lessons. Mess around in there. You're not going to mess it up unless you go into Install Lesson and you mess around with one of those files, and you're going to jack it up, okay? So don't mess around with those, okay? How do you enlarge?
Well, mine is Shift Control F7.
F7. Guys, I googled that thing the other night on how to turn off that block function. That function. And I'm trying to.
What was your Shift Control F7?
F7. I hit 4 buttons.
Minus. Oh yeah. Well, yeah.
And what it's telling me here, so if you have to do that FN, go to Google, and what I typed in was turn off FN key. And it brings it up. And it says to disable or enable the function key, which is the FN, in the BIOS, do the following steps. Press the power button. Well, the computer's already on. And then it says press the F10 key to open the BIOS. So press the F10. No, just F10. No, you
That's
have
my
to be
volume.
in. Huh?
Oh, in here. In
Yeah.
here? Okay. Just hit F10.
Yeah.
Because that's my volume.
Well, maybe do,
Function F10.
yeah,
Negative.
and then do anything. Hit F10 again. Just F10 by itself. It's just volume.
I think you would have to have them in order to use the function 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8,
I know,
9,
I'm
10.
scared to mess with mine.
Only because if you turn it off, then when you actually hit the button F10, it's only going to do the function that's minus to.
All it does is reverse it, guys. It doesn't turn it off. It just
Oh.
reverses it. So
Oh.
now the F10 is going to do F10 and whatever you want it to do in there.
And then if we hit the function, then it will turn it up, turn up my volume, turn it down.
Yeah.
You know
So
what
if
I'm
you
saying?
want to turn up the
Switch.
volume, now you do the function
With the-
volume and then it does it. So you need to go in and Google that.
Okay.
I'm telling you, and if you can, turn it off. We'll have to mess with it one day, but we're not going to do it on the record, right now. So, well,
I'm just being a nuisance.
as in that. Okay, do y'all have any questions about the block files?
Like, none yet, 'cause we're not like,
Good at them.
Hmm?
Using them. Yeah, we're not using them, so when we start using them, that's another question.
Yeah. We're gonna skip over form fills because that one's a little bit harder. We don't have, much time left or whatever, so I'm gonna see on the spell check. I don't think it's very in-depth, so.
Are we gonna do form fields next time?
Yeah, we're gonna do form fills next time.
So I'll learn how to do the E to fill in blank.
It's gonna show you how to create a form fill too. So you're gonna be able to create one, all of that stuff, okay?
Let's look at some of the proofreading tools that are built into Total Eclipse. You can start the spell check by clicking on an icon of a toolbar or selecting from the production menu. However, any icon of a toolbar or selecting from the production menu. However, anytime you want to check the spelling of the word your cursor is on, just press Alt-S. And if you're wondering whether two words could be properly joined as one, just mark the words and then press Alt-S. Then check the status bar in the lower left corner of your Eclipse.
You see what it's telling you? So if you want to see if it's one word, and some of it can be one word, two word, or whatever, and it'll show you if it's correct, okay? But if you put them together, it's going to put a red line under here if it's not spelled correctly, okay? But just because it has that red line under there doesn't mean that it's not spelled correctly. So if you ever have any questions about whether it is, just Google it. I'll tell you what, that Google is going to become your best friend. It's amazing, okay?
Eclipse program window. When you're ready to spell check your entire document and not just individual words, you can get started by pressing Shift-Alt-S. However, let's see how you can go to the Edit section of your user settings and fine-tune the spell checker's behavior. By default, Eclipse checks for several kinds of errors. It also loads the words of your job dictionary in the ignored words list, so it won't have to ask you about them.
Okay? Understand that? So when you start going through and spell checking or whatever, it's going to ask you, do you want to ignore all? So a lot of times you're going to want to do like ignore all. If it's on a proper name or something like that, or something that they spell it different, if somebody spells their name Michelle and it's M-I-C-H-E-L-E instead of L-L-E, well, you don't want to change it in your dictionary. You just want to change it for that job, so you just want to ignore all.
When you finish spell checking, Eclipse keeps track of the words that you've been ignoring. This is great if you're spell checking several documents in the same case. But if you're switching to a different case, you might want to purge the ignored words. You also have the option to read along with the spell checker. If you use this method, here's where you can control the speed of the cursor. Basically, you'll be reading along for context while you let the computer catch things like double words or too many spaces between words. Or
See how I did that?
So it's going along and you're just,
Yeah.
so it's stopping at every point where they think that, oh, you need to
Yeah.
correct
Be
this.
careful with that because it's going to take you a while to do that.
Okay.
It's still going to catch it anyway. But if you want to read along with it, you can. But if your document is 230 pages, no. Okay? Just do the spell check and it's going to come through and it's going to tell you every time they say, well, when you did that, did that go off? So now you have that. So it's going to stop on there and it's going to ask you, did you mean to put that? Does one of them need to be deleted? You want to ignore it? You never want to do ignore all because you may hit that twice and didn't mean to do it. So you want to be careful with that.
the words to ignore are double questions.
See, and it picks that up too. Double questions, double answers. It'll pick all of that stuff up. If you put a double speaker, it'll pick that up too. So if you put Mr. Jones and Mr. Jones and it was supposed to be the court and you didn't merge it or whatever, it'll tell you, look, Mr. Jones is there twice. Did you mean for Mr. Jones to be there twice? No. But like if you put Mr. Jones and then you put, or you put the court and you said, you know what, we need to go off the record. You put a parenthetical and then the court comes back on again, it'll usually stop and say, hey, you have two here of the court. Is that what you meant to do? Well, yeah, because we had a recess in between and then the court brought us back on the record. Okay?
Of course, you do not have to read along with the spell checker. And if you're looking for an even faster method, you might consider list errors, which is the subject of a separate presentation.
Yeah.
Let's see what list errors means. You'll find that option listed in the production menu. But you can also use the speed key, Shift Control E, as in errors. Eclipse will scan through your document and open a list of suspect items. Selecting any item will then show it to you in context. What makes this procedure a bit quicker is that although you can read the context, you don't have to. This is just a quick list of possible errors, so if you press the Ignore button, or change the spelling for one occurrence, or all occurrences of an item on this list, you are then free to move on to other items. From here, you can add words to your personal spelling list, look for suggested spelling alternates.
Guys, this is just kind of a long way of doing it. The next time I use this will be the first time I use this. Okay? Never used it. If you want to use it, fine. It's just a way of another way of doing spell check that lists your errors.
I have a question though. Whenever I tried that just right now,
Yeah.
it gives me the option to change it, but then it took me to something that looked like my dictionary. Am I going to be defining that all the time? Like, what if I just want to change that one time? Like, apparently I wrote 1, 2, 3 THJ. I meant 13. So when I click 13, is this my dictionary? Am I going to be making an entry?
No. It's just asking you if that's what you want to change.
So I'm not adding.
No.
Okay.
Or look for a definition. You can even open the globaling dialog from this procedure, just as you can from the dialogues that are given to you through the spell check document procedure. So whether you want to do a meticulous read-through of your document or correct just a quick list of possible errors, there are great proofreading tools built right into Total Eclipse.
Any questions about that?
No.
Y'all know how to check a word, right? Get on the word, Alt-S. We talked about that, I think, before class. Shift Alt-S. We just talked about it. You do to spell check your whole document, or you just come up here, and usually there's an icon here. I don't know why. I think it's just on the tutorial that it doesn't let you do it.
Let's see some of the ways that AutoMagic helps you prevent spelling errors as you work. Word reversals are just one of the small problems that AutoMagic understands. This question should have been, is she still working there? Pressing 5 is a fast way to reverse these words. This should have been working, but I need a different suffix on the form. Yes. Pressing.
Guys, we've already gone through this one, okay? We did this, we're not gonna do it again. It's kind of self-explanatory. It gives you the different options over here in AutoMagic, so all it's doing is just repeating one of the things We'll see if maybe there's something different on it.
One word needs to be split into two.
No.
Pressing choice 1. My steno for techno.
No, this is exactly the same. It's exactly the same. So all it's doing is just going over the spellings. Okay, guys, that's it for this week. Do y'all have any questions about the stuff that we covered tonight? Go over that stuff. If you need to go over the lesson again, go over the lesson again, mess with that stuff. Mess with those block files too. Merge in some of those block files and kind of see what you have. And if you have questions about it, we can go over it.
Should we not try looking at the form fields?
No, I mean, we need to go over that. We'll need to go over that. And I don't want you messing with something and then kind of getting a different perspective of what it was supposed to be and it's not that. Okay? So go over the stuff that we've gone over already. Okay? Don't try to get ahead of the game. You need to try to focus on the stuff that we've already done and try to master that, and then we'll fine tune everything else. Okay?
We're gonna have like a semi-multi-voice day, right?
Yeah. That's a few weeks down the road, but yes, we're gonna start doing multi-voice, and we're gonna start doing when we start setting everything up. We're still a little ways from there, but we're gonna get there. Any questions? All right, see y'all in a couple of weeks.